Alright, so this is just a short video explaining peptides, which I've been involved in myself in my own journey for over 6 years. I've been knowing about peptides for quite a while, have seen the versatility that they have in performance medicine and just how they can directly signal certain sections of the body to help influence outcomes. The cool thing about peptides is they're extremely safe, and they don't have to be detoxed like normal pharmaceutical compounds. And so we wanted to take this video and just kind of go over some of the things that we need to know about peptides as we may integrate them into our health journey. So peptides, what we're seeing is they are amino acids, but they're shorter amino acids, meaning that the chains on them are between 2 and 40 amino acids. When you get above 40, these are called polypeptides, and then when you get above 100, this is what you're dealing with, a protein. So a protein is something like whey protein, and these are longer chain amino acids that have benefits to the body, help build muscle, things like that. And so the cool thing about peptides is they allow them to interact with the cell in a direct and targeted way. So they're already in our body already produces them, so we know what to do with them. And so when you inject a peptide versus a compound, say you take a compounded drug or something like that, your body has to detox that compound, and then that has side effects. When you're dealing with peptides, your body already knows and recognizes them, and they're there to do a specific. You don't really get those major side effects that you can have with certain things that have to be detoxed, have to go through a certain process, and then your body has to figure out what to do with it and make something with it. So very different approach to medicine versus compounds and things like that. Now there's the body produces its own natural peptides, and then you can introduce synthetic peptides. These are peptides that your body didn't produce that can be targeted with specific tasks. So the roles in the body that a lot of our peptides do is they're hormones. I mean, take for instance insulin. This is a hormone, and it has a lot of processes with the cell, helps interact with the cell to allow glucose to be inputted into the cell to do its job and produce ATP. And it also works as an immune response or anti-aging as well. We'll talk about that some too. Many therapeutic uses that we may know of, like growth hormone releasing peptides, weight loss, and then healing and recovery. And so peptide medicine, like I was saying, it targets a specific biological process. So it goes directly to the cell and then helps influence something depending on how it works. There's a lot of delivery innovations. One of the things about peptides is normally they're injected sub-Q. This is the best way to get peptides into the body, but they are coming out with things like nasal sprays, and depending on whether or not the stomach acid breaks down a peptide and allows it to be absorbed, you can take them orally as well. Usually these are kind of like very short amino chain acids and typically kind of in the bioregulator space. Again, there's fewer side effects than traditional pharmaceuticals. That just gets back to your body knows what to do with it. And sequencing of peptides is going to be the frontier for health going forward. We already have seen this, especially in weight loss, GLP-1s and how they work. Pharmaceuticals want in this game because they know it works. It's a little bit harder because it's harder to patent a actual peptide versus like a pharmaceutical drug. Peptides have been around for a long time, and we've known about them, but now the big pharmaceutical companies are catching wind of this, and they want to create their own versions of it. So we're seeing that quite a bit. Now, thinking about how you get your peptides, there's kind of two main ways out there right now. We did talk a little bit about the pharmaceutical companies getting involved in this. They are trying to, but typically this has been in the compounding pharmacy space. These are small pharmacies that can use certain compounded drugs, create the compound drugs, and then package them and get them out there. And the other one is in the internet. There's many websites out there that you can order these from, and these are considered research chemicals. You have to really think seriously about whether or not you want to go that route. Here at Huemn, we don't recommend that. There's a few reasons. There's lack of oversight, their purity can be an issue, and there's unable to verify testing and quality. Even though a company may say they have that, it's just there's no controls on this, and so we always recommend going with the compounding pharmacy. The good thing about compounding pharmacies is they actually get more FDA oversight than even the big pharmaceuticals. Even the big pharmaceuticals have their pharmacies overseas, and sometimes they don't ever visit those places to find out. Even some of the major big ones, they don't have that oversight, and they've had problems with ever having inspections. So the quality control that goes into compounding pharmacy is far and away better than the internet or even large pharmaceutical companies. The quality control is there. They're always testing. You can ask quality. You can see what batch you had and how it was produced and what its actual have pharmaceutical standards. They adhere to the state and federal regulations for quality, safety, and sterileness, and making sure that it's sterile. So they do a really good job making sure, and this is the way that we recommend sourcing your peptides. Peptides can do a lot of things. Kind of the major categories we're seeing it being used in is regenerative and anti-aging. This is like your GHK, copper, peptides, your epidolon, pineolon. So there's some really cool ones that are actually targeting the regenerative properties of health, helping reproduce the pineal gland, things like that are real important to health and regenerative. We're seeing immune modulation uses as well. This is our thymosin alpha 1 or our thymolin. These are very good immune modulators and really kind of help strengthen the immune system, so you can target that. One of the major ones that everybody knows about is weight loss. This is your tirzepatide, your semaglutide, your GLP-1s, and your GIPs. And these are really cool because they've been around a long time. We've known about these, but like I was saying, the pharmaceuticals have jumped into this game and they're trying to control this market. And these are probably the biggest blockbuster drugs that have been out in a long time, in the last 20, 30 years. So we're seeing just huge improvements with weight loss and metabolic health, right? So this is the peptide. Neurological, cognitive enhancements. These are going to be your dihexa, your cerebrolysine, Salonc, Samax. These are really great peptides that can be used for neurological health, and really good research on these. Growth hormone releasing peptides. This is kind of the biggest second category to weight loss. We're seeing huge benefits with growth hormone. It's actually kind of anti-aging as well because our growth hormone kind of decreases as we're aging. This is your sermorelin, tesamorelin, ipamorelin, growth hormone releasing peptide 6, and even CJC 1295. So there's a lot of them out there that are influencing the growth hormone, and growth hormone is a major function and has pleiotropic effects, meaning it affects all the system. So when you influence growth hormone, it's very healthy for the body. Recovery and healing. Now this is our BPC 157, very healthy for the gut, good for repairs, tissue repairs, any kind of injuries, stuff like that. And then there's TB 500, also called thymosin beta 4, both exactly the same thing. Sometimes you can use the copper GHKCU, that's very healthy for healing. Kisspeptin, KPV is another big one that we're seeing good for recovery and healing. So just knowing kind of like where we're at right now, there's a lot happening in the space. There's a lot of these peptides that are coming on board, and we're just seeing a lot of benefit for all these different systems. And so peptides Again, a very cool, innovative, new area of medicine that's precision based. You can actually just influence certain functions of the body by introducing these. So this is just a quick overview of peptides. At Huemn, we have access to many of these through our compounding pharmacies, and you can use these to help influence your health in a positive direction. Anyways, thank you and hope this helps.